If you are pushing 50, like I am, and you are renovating your kitchen, then you'll want to do it in such a way that is thoughtful to the future you. However, no matter how old you are, this advice will make your kitchen incredibly more functional overall. Starting with my new favorite accessory that I've been talking about for the last few months, the pull-down wall unit. You may not be ready for a modern and minimalistic kitchen, or you just love your wall cabinets and you need the storage. The wall pull-down unit allows you to access the much-needed storage without having to reach or get on a stool. As with every kitchen accessory, there is a lot to choose from in terms of quality, in terms of size, in terms of installation. You'll want to pick something that suits your needs, but definitely investigate the wall pull-down unit to make those high, hard-to-reach wall cabinets so much more functional. One of my mottos is to design the kitchen in such a way that the stuff comes to you. There's no greater way to do this than a wall pull-down unit. And you can have these installed above your fridge or the top of your pantry, those really hard to access cabinets that you need to get on a chair or a stool to get into. Now you can reclaim those spaces and use them to your benefit in the kitchen. There's a lot of pushback on this next item, but I think if you give it a chance, it could be something that will greatly benefit you in your kitchen, especially as you grow older, and that's smart technology. Now, I know you may not want to have a smart fridge or a smart stove, and I get that. You might want to have other things in your kitchen that work with technology to make your kitchen life easier. Something as simple as voice-activated lights or voice-activated faucets. Easy to install, relatively budget-friendly, and something that can enhance the usage of your kitchen even if you're not older, you just have your hands full of dough and sauce or whatever, and you just want to say to your faucet, just turn on and wash my hands. You may want to make your kitchen easier to access using servo drives. They've been around for many years and a lot of clients don't use them because they are very expensive. However, if you can squeeze this into your budget, it is a way to utilize your doors and drawers electronically. So with the push of a button, the doors and drawers open and close for you with an override feature in case the power goes out. It allows you to just with the bump of an elbow, your leg, your finger, open doors and hard to reach cabinets. For instance, if you have a vertical lift cabinet for some reason, when you open that door, now that door is very high to close, but with the servo drive, it's just the press of a button and the thing closes for you. So you don't have to compromise on the design of your kitchen. If you want to have vertical lift doors or other things that you just think are visually pleasing, you can still have these with the servo drive and make them even easier to use. And the less expensive version of this is just to get push to open drawers and doors. This can be done even after the installation of your kitchen with these aftermarket pistons that you can buy even at Home Depot. Install them on your doors and drawers. They push to open and everything pops out to you. So it just makes the kitchen a little easier to use overall. And since we're talking about opening cabinet doors and drawers, it's a good opportunity to mention cabinet hardware. You should look into cabinet hardware that you can get your full hand behind, that you don't have to grab. You can just put your hand in and open. You don't need to grab it with your thumb. And think about hardware that's not going to get caught on your pants or your shirt when you're walking by. It can be annoying and dangerous. Now, smart appliances are here to stay. We are only going to see more and more of them. I don't think the analog version of appliances are going to go away by any means. And so many people are going to be putting these things in their kitchens almost by necessity. And yes, that's annoying. And yes, the power goes off. You can't use them anyway, but you can't use your appliances if the power goes off regardless, unless it's gas. I don't really worry about that, but I do get the fact that all of this tech in your kitchen can be overwhelming, plus the fact that they're connected to your Wi-Fi and who can access those things and get into your systems, and it can be a big mess. So I totally get that, but if you are thinking about smart appliances, one of the smart decisions you can make is with your cooktop or your range. Find an option that have actual knobs and dials on it that you can physically turn with your hands. This was always kind of the standard in the olden days, like 5 years ago. And now that technology has interrupted the appliance market, everything has touch screens and it can be kind of annoying to use. The new trend is knobs on appliances. Or as Michael from Kitchen Insider says,
knobs on hobs.
Yeah, having a knob on an appliance is very smart and something you should consider if you are designing your kitchen for the future you. And regardless if your appliances are smart or dumb, make sure they're installed at a height that is usable for you. Now, of course, your refrigerator sits on the floor and that's just the way it is. But your oven, your microwave, even your dishwasher can be installed at various heights depending on your needs. Don't be afraid to explore those options with your designer. If you want to have your dishwasher raised, it can be done and should be done if it's going to make the kitchen more functional for you. My overall advice for ovens and microwaves even is to have them installed in a place where you don't have to bend over or reach. So I think the best location is around countertop height, but that doesn't mean you can't explore other options if you think it's going to be beneficial for you. Maybe you're very tall and something that is up high might be better for you, or You're very short, and something in a base cabinet might work. So explore those options and install those appliances at a height that is convenient. As smart appliances become more and more popular, the other thing that's becoming more and more popular are just the sheer amount of small appliances that are intruding into our kitchens. We have small appliances that will cover every single task known to man. Some just do one thing, some do multiple things, but there are many of them out there. If they make your life easier in the kitchen, certainly fill your kitchen with them, and don't be afraid to store them on your countertop if that is the best place for them. That way they are there when you need them. That's totally okay with me. Use an appliance lift if you need to. They're not just for mixers, they can be used for your most prized small appliance, whether it's a coffee maker, a blender, a toaster, whatever you want. You can put it on an appliance lift. Let's talk about the sink for a minute. If you're planning a solution for the older version of you, a shallower sink might be something to investigate. Modern sinks today are very deep, 10 inches in some cases, plus they're undermounted, which drops them down another inch and a quarter sometimes. So you have this very deep basin, which can be great for many people, but it might not be great for you if you don't want to be bending down and bending over into that sink. So consider a shallow sink in this scenario. Added to the fact that you can also raise your dishwasher, the combination of these two things can make a very functional cleaning station overall. One of the recent developments in my life has been reading glasses. All of a sudden, I need drugstore glasses to read the fine print of things. It's just life. But the reading glasses help me very little if there's not enough light on the text that I'm trying to read, bringing up this next point of having light in your kitchen. One of the things I advise my clients is if it's there, you can turn it on or off, but if it's not there, you can never turn it on. So it's better to install as many lights as possible. The obvious ones are pendant lights and track lighting in your ceiling or can lighting. Having sconces is very popular. Under cabinet lighting is an absolute necessity if you have wall cabinets and you want to light your countertop up so you can see the task that you're performing. But one of the areas that people don't light up usually is inside their cabinets. These lights turn on as the door or drawer opens so that you can really see what's going on inside of those cabinets. Now there's ways to install pot lights to help you in this as well, basically installing them over where you're pulling out the drawer, but having the drawer actually light up is a super bonus lighting option. So definitely go down that rabbit hole and investigate that type of lighting in your next kitchen. Designing your kitchen to be accessible is very important. Now this doesn't mean it has to be wheelchair accessible, though you can design it that way if for some reason you think you will be in a wheelchair at some point in your life or someone in your home using that kitchen will be in a wheelchair, then by all means there is accessible design that you can follow to do this. There's a link to the NKBA guidelines in my description, and it'll tell you all the accessibility standards that you should be considering for wheelchair access. Your designer will likely be aware of these and will reference this when they're designing your kitchen if this is for you, but that's something you should definitely investigate if that is what you think the future you will need. However, there are some considerations you can think about even if it's not wheelchair accessible. One of those is raising your toe kick height. A regular toe kick is about 4.5 inches from the floor, that toe space where your toes fit in, but you can make this a different height if you want to. Now, normally 9 inches, 10 inches is around the standard for wheelchair accessibility, but by doing this, you're also raising the floor of the cabinet so that you don't have to bend down as far to get what's on the bottom, and it allows you to install things underneath the toe kick like a toe kick step stool, which can make your life in the kitchen more functional as well by being able to reach things. So think about the combination of a toe kick stool with a wall pull down unit. It's a functional kitchen dream. And when I think about accessibility, I immediately think about shallow depth pantries or shallow depth storage. You don't need any pullouts, you don't need anything like that. Everything is there to grab for you right on the shelf as is. And we can't talk about accessibility without talking about drawers. Put as many drawers as possible. I think that goes without saying, but also consider pullouts in some cabinets because a pullout can have a shallower depth, meaning you can grab the things easier off of it depending on what those things are. That can be very helpful in a lot of situations. And avoid narrow cabinets, especially on the base, unless they are very specific use cases, such as a cutlery pullout or a spice pullout or something along that lines. The narrower the cabinet, the less functional it's going to be overall if it doesn't have some specific accessory to make it so. And let's talk really quick about corner cabinets. I know some of you love your Lazy Susans, and if you've watched my content before, you know that I like to block off corners usually and utilize the other space to be more accessible. And that's not a favorite opinion for a lot of people because they love their Lazy Susans or don't want to waste that space. So if you're going to have a corner in your new kitchen, then make sure that you go through all the options for that corner to make it as accessible as possible. Whether it's a Lazy Susan or a magic corner or by blocking it off, or drawers, or a number of other ways. Go through all the options with your designer so you can come up with the best solution for you. Because the worst thing in the world is having a corner cabinet in your kitchen that's not accessible, that's just a dark crevasse that you're going to lose things in and not find for 20 years. No thank you. And if you're designing a kitchen for the future you, why not consider a one-on-one consultation with me? There's a link in the description below where we get into the weeds about your specific scenario in your kitchen and try to come up with the best option for you. Or you already have a kitchen plan, but you want a second set of eyes to just go over the details, make sure you're covering everything you need to cover, and you want a little bit more peace of mind about it. The link's below. We'll chat then. Don't get stuck with a kitchen that's not functional. Watch this video next to hear my 4 pillars of kitchen design. We'll see you soon.